Hi, I'm Steven Rector, Park Ranger with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and you're watching the West Point Lake Update. Today's show is coming to you from Hardley Creek Park. This is a great little park on the south end of West Point Lake. We've got a kids fishing pond here, a great view of the powerhouse and dam. There's a canoe launch here and some great walking trails. We'll be right back with our first guest, so stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back. Joining me now is Park Ranger Randy Dye. Randy, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Randy, I invited you on the show today. Summer's not even over, but we have to start talking about 2017. And one of the questions we always get this time of year is pertaining to how to become a park attendant at one of our campgrounds next year. So could you just give me a rundown of kind of what all is entailed of being a park attendant and how that process works?
Sure. As you know, we have 4 campgrounds on the project here, and each one of those campgrounds actually has 2 contracts that are let for the campground. One of those contracts requires 2 people, so we actually have 4 people there, although it's 2 contracts. Part of the contracting process is that there's requirements that you be able to physically perform some duties, that you follow our rules and our policies, and that you can understand Title 36, which is what the rangers actually enforce in the campgrounds. For the 4 campgrounds that we have, that would be 8 contracts. Part of the process is that you need to be bonded. You have to have a certain amount of insurance on your vehicles and equipment. You have to be able to meet a 4-day on, 4-day off rotation throughout the entire length of the contract that we provide, and you have to have certain camping equipment just to meet the requirements for the campgrounds. Of those 4 campgrounds, I'll start with Amity. Opens up in April, runs through Labor Day, and that's a 4-day on, 4-day off contract for both sides of that campground. That one opens up. We're going to run 7 days next year. This year, as you know, we only open for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Because of some customer issues and some other things, we decided to look at reevaluating our position and decided to go to a 7-day contract again. And we hope that the public will come out and take advantage of that. Then we'll move around to Holiday. Holiday opens in March and will also run until Labor Day. Holiday is a little bit larger campground. People love the campground. Folks seem to gravitate toward their particular favorite campground, and we have a lot of people that think that's the best one we have. We'll move over to Whitetail then. Whitetail is our longest open campground for the summer season. It opens in March, but it runs through mid-November. Actually, we open for Halloween, which is a big treat for everybody. That's the campground that everybody uses for the Halloween celebrations. That also has 2 attendants, one on either side, and requires the 4-day on, 4-day off rotation. Then if you move around to Schaefer Herd, it opens in March and it never closes. It's actually open all year round, but it will close for summer operations in October. In winter operations, we go to a non-paid volunteer host, so that would end the contract. It's also a 4-day on, 4-day off contract. The contracts are normally lit about the 1st of October, and they're placed on the FedBiz Ops website. For the folks that don't want to go there, they can call the office at 706-645-2937 and ask for me, or they can call Mobile headquarters, which is our district headquarters, call our contracting office at 251-441-6501 and get the information there. If they will call me and give me an email address, I can email out a packet that will include all of the requirements and most of the paperwork that they'll need to complete.
One of the things that we get questions about with the bid process is there seems to be a little confusion. Some people believe if they place one bid at West Point Lake that they'll be considered for all of the open positions at West Point Lake, or maybe they'll submit one bid package, and I think last year the number was 96 contract positions in the entire Mobile district. I try to explain to folks that every position is a separate and unique bid.
Each one of those is a separate and unique bid, and we explain to the folks that are interested, if you only want to work at a particular campground, then only bid on that particular campground. What we do in campground host and park attendant selection is akin to a football draft. There's a pool of folks who bid, and based on government requirements, we have to choose the lowest bidder for that particular. So as we go around the room choosing park attendants, whenever it comes up for a particular campground, if you've bid on all 4 campgrounds, but you really only wanted to work holiday, if your name comes up for another campground and you're chosen, you have to accept it or turn it down, in which case you're not given a contract.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with the Mobile district is you're offered one contract in this district per year, and you are either going to accept that contract or decline, but you are not offered a second contract within the Mobile district. No,
you're passed over and you're removed from the bidding list, and unfortunately I think the process is, it sounds more complicated than it really is. I think it's harder to explain than it really is, but if folks want to give us a call, we can explain it to them. We can actually show them the process. In some cases, help them understand a little better.
The other thing I want to point out before we wrap up for today, and I appreciate your time, Randy, is that our park attendant sites are assigned based on the contract that is awarded to you.
Correct.
And so that might dictate for some of our potential park attendants which contracts they're bidding on at which places.
Sure, if you have a particular date, or if you're one of those folks who does this for full time and you need to be at another job on a particular date, you want to be sure to look at the date that your contract ends here, because there's a possibility that it could overlap and you wouldn't be able to leave and go to your next contract. If you know in advance that you're going to have those issues, those are the kind of things you need to take into consideration when you're bidding.
And as you go into holiday, or any of our campgrounds for that matter, the A contract, and that's how it's usually advertised, is always on the left-hand side as you go into a campground.
Correct.
And the B contract is on the right-hand side as you go into a campground. If you are offered the A contract at Holiday Campground and you accept that, you're automatically assigned
to the left side of that entrance. And just a little bit more information on the park attendant sites. They are full hookups. They do have water, sewer, electric, everything there. We do provide a phone hookup for a private phone line, for a hard line. The sites are cleaned after every season, kept up really well. I have to say the contractors do a good job of keeping the sites up. So you get a premium campsite for the entire length of your contract. Now, having said that, what we normally allow is I'll allow a potential contractor or whoever gets the contract to come into the campground early so that they can come in and get everything set up. And then at the end of the contract, we'll actually allow 5 to 10 days, depending on what we're doing, to allow them to stay in the campground after that, get everything bundled up, wrapped up, and then for them to move to their next contract or to go home for the season.
Randy, just one more time before we wrap up, give us our telephone number at the office in case people have questions about
Sure, you can ask for me. I'm Randy Dye. The number is 706-645-2937. That's the receptionist in the front. She'll transfer you back to me. If I'm not there, please leave a message and I'll get the package out. If you need to call contracting in Mobile, again, it's 251-441-6501.
Randy, some great information. I appreciate your time today.
Well, thanks for having us.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
Used to be invincible. You offer me eternity and a world of happiness. You offer me eternity.
Hi, and welcome back. I have with me now Park Ranger Rebecca Fink. Rebecca, thanks for coming out today.
Thank you.
We are just starting a brand new school season, and so I wanted to bring you on the TV show today to remind folks about this wonderful pass program that we have. It's a national pass program, actually, called Every Kid in a Park that fourth graders can qualify for. Could you give me an overview of the Every Kid in a Park pass program?
And this program is very new. It started a little bit late in the school season last year, but as we get started with the new fourth graders being in class, this is the time to get this card, because as you go through the school year and you've got your spring break and this will roll over into their summer, these passes are an annual pass to all of our federal parks, and multiple agencies are involved in this. And it's a way for our fourth graders to get out to our national monuments, our parks, with their families as well. It's not just for that fourth grader. These passes are given to fourth graders. You go to the website www.everykidinapark.gov. There's information for educators on how to do curriculums in the classroom. Simple questions, answers, get them to talk about the park, what excites them about being outside. And very simply, they're issued this card for free. And it's a year-long annual pass, good through September through August of their fourth grade year. It'll get them and their family into these parks for free.
So, just to clarify, the Every Kid in a Park pass for West Point Lake will allow you to use our boat ramps and our swim beaches at no charge, but that doesn't give you any discount on camping.
It doesn't, and this pass is really to get you into, and I'm going to list a couple of the agencies that are involved. It's the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the U.S. Forest Service, and the National Park Service, among many others. Here at West Point Lake, we have 3 beach areas that are open May through Labor Day. We also have various boat ramps that cost a day use fee. This card gets you into those areas without paying the day use fees, so it is free for them to come in, which here at West Point is usually a $5 per vehicle entrance fee.
Now, there are a number of ways that fourth graders can qualify for this pass. One of those ways, though, is through some online study, I understand, an online program?
Yes, so this isn't specific to the Army Corps of Engineers. You don't have to come to our office. You don't have to come to talk to our park rangers. You can go online to the everykidinapark.gov site, and as a fourth grader, create a little storybook. The online survey is going to ask you just a couple questions to get you excited about the park. And what you will print after that is the voucher, and this is the same as the card. This will get you into your parks just the same way you would display it on your vehicle, you'd have it in your wallet. We encourage you to come to our project office, though, and turn in this paper voucher for the official card. It'll last a little bit longer for you.
And then we'll probably give you a hang tag also that you can put on your mirror with
Absolutely.
that card for when you go in the swim beaches.
A lot of these areas, and it all depends on which agency and which park you're going to, they may charge per person, they may charge per vehicle. If they're charging per vehicle, you may just want to display that card on your dashboard, and we'll give you a hang tag to be able to do so. But this card will get you up to 4 family members if it's available. Fourth grader will have to sign the back, and they'll be responsible for their card, and it belongs to them.
That's a wonderful program. I know that we're just launching the school year. That's kind of why I wanted to bring you on the TV show this month, so that we could try to get that information out a little earlier. Last year we got involved, maybe in January?
In January, a little bit late, and we tried to get out to the schools. And I encourage, if you are in an education program, whether it's public school, private school, or homeschooling, and you want to do this, you're not quite sure how as an educator, although there are tools and resources online for you, call us, get a park ranger out there. We can do a very short environmental program and issue these cards for you on site for your students.
Rebecca, we have just a couple of minutes left. I want to switch gears just very quickly. We kind of got an introduction from Randy Dye earlier about winter operations at Schaefer Herd Campground. Could you very quickly go over with us how Schaefer Herd Campground is going to operate this winter, starting, what would that be, around November 1st of 2016 through
October the 31st.
October 31st.
Of this year, we'll start our winter operations, and we will transition from a paid contract position transition straight over into a volunteer program. I am the volunteer coordinator here at West Point Lake. We will have 2 hosts, the same as we did normally with a contract. As you enter the campground, you've got a left and a right side host. They're going to be rotating on a 7-day on-off rotation. Now, contrary to what you normally see during the summertime, that gatehouse being open, available for service, using a cash register, paying for a site right there, we are not operating the gatehouse. This is going to be a self-service honor system with our campers. All of our sites are reservable, and we recommend our campers to come in with a reservation. Your site will be held for you. The responsibility of the volunteer is to keep the site posts updated with current reservations. They'll outlook reservations up to 4 to 7 days in advance at times, so that you know if you're just walking into the campground, that 1-800 number will become available for you to call the same day, make an on-site reservation, and the volunteers will do simple check-ins and check-outs with you. The main change is that that phone number, the 1-877 reservation number, is going to be your primary source of doing any changes and edits to your site. Whether it's an early checkout, a transfer, our volunteers are not operating a cash register. The only form of payment in the campground is going to be over the phone with a credit card.
So, Rebecca, I appreciate that information, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to explain to us the Every Kid in the Park Pass, but then also remind our viewers, after October 31st, Schaefer Herd is going to be a self-serve campground. Campsites 1 through 54. Make your reservations up to 180 days in advance, 877-444-6777 or www.recreation.gov. Rebecca, I appreciate your time today. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break.
When boating this summer, remember 3 things. We call them the Big 3. Hi, this is Sergeant Jim Bradfield with DNR Law Enforcement in Troup County. Number 1, wear your life jacket. You can't grab a stowed life jacket if you're ejected during an accident. Number 2, obey and follow navigation rules. On the water, there are rules of the road. Know them and follow them. And number 3, don't drink in boat. A couple of drinks could ruin your life forever. Remember the Big 3 and boat safe. Go to gadnrle.org and click on boating for more information.
Hi, and welcome back. I have joining me now Natural Resource Specialist Dave Scott. Dave, I appreciate you taking time out of the day to be here.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you about, we have a special event coming up here in late September, National Public Lands Day.
That's right.
This is kind of a big deal for us, and I wanted to bring you on the show to explain kind of what we're going to be attempting to do this National Public Lands Day.
That's right. Well, thank you, Steve, for giving me the opportunity to come on. This year is probably our 30th, roughly, year of trying to do some sort of lake cleanup. And we have, in recent years, combined that lake cleanup with National Public Lands Day, which is a national initiative to get people out into public parks and public areas to help kind of give back to those areas. And also it allows those people to come out to kind of get an understanding of the impacts you know, of things like littering and what happens to our trash out here. And so this year, on September 24th, which is National Public Lands Day, we're going to meet at Earl Cook Recreation Area and Beach at our pavilions there. We're going to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to have 3 different main activities going on. We're going to have a trash cleanup, and this year we're incorporating a couple of new things. We're going to have some fish attractors to be built on site. We're going to have all supplies for these fish attractors to be built. And then also we're going to have supplies on hand for building of wood duck boxes, nest boxes that we can put out. The fish tractors and nest boxes, those will be built on site there. And then the trash cleanup will have several sites around the lake that we'll disperse out to pick up that trash, hopefully, and try to get some areas cleaned up. You know, this past December we had a pretty substantial rain event / flood that brought a lot of trash down the river to our lake. Unfortunately, we collect trash from as far away as Atlanta. You know, it makes its way down the river and settles in our lake, and so this is an ongoing issue. And so each year we have new places that unfortunately have caught trash from the previous years, and so we're hoping to get out and make a dent in those areas. You know, we're looking for groups or individuals. So if you have a group that you know of, church groups, school groups, anything like that, we'd love for you to register with us ahead of time and come out the day of and help us. And if you're just a single person, just want to kind of give back, yourself, we'd love to accommodate you there as well and team you up with some other people to do that same day.
So you are asking for pre-registration for both groups and individuals. I guess you have some events going on along with this day that you kind of want to have a rough idea of how many people you're going to have. That's
correct, Steve. We'd like to have everybody registered about 2 weeks out, ideally, but we'll take registration. You can register by contacting me. You can either call our office at 706-645-2937, or you can contact me through my email. This is a long one, so it's david.j.scott@usace.army.mil. And so if you want to email me directly, contact me through the phone, let me know, the group of your group's name, how many people you expect to have, and if you have if you prefer doing a type of activity, let me know that, and we'll try to accommodate as best as possible. Because one of the things we're going to do kind of as a give back to our volunteers is Wendy's from Lafayette Parkway is going to be doing lunch for all of our volunteers that day. So we need a good head count to know how many there. And then along with that, we're also going to have the Chattahoochee River Keepers are going to be on hand. They're going to have their big floating classroom boat, Miss Sally is what they call it, and that seats I think up to 40 people. And so we're going to be taking boat rides for people to just kind of a give back, give them an opportunity to explain what they're about, and just give the volunteer a chance to go out and see part of the lake from the boat and that kind of setting. So
for people who have not been on the Riverkeeper boat, that's a great opportunity to go out on that boat and see what that group does. Some of their education programs that they're doing on that boat are fantastic.
That's right. Yeah.
I wanted to also ask some of the groups that are volunteering, if they're not available on that day, are there opportunities for them to kind of volunteer anywhere around that day, or are we going to kind of limit them to?
We would love to have it one big day, fun in numbers, so to speak. Get a large group. Let's show the community, hey, that our community does care about this lake and that our community does care about the environment here. And so we'd love to have everybody here just kind of for shock factor. Wow, look, we had 200-300 people show up at one time. But if your group's limited, we don't want to hold you back from helping out. So we'll certainly work with you. If you need if you have an afternoon available the week before or the week after, we want to work with those people and because we don't want to hold anybody from having a chance to give back to the lake. And so we'll work with those as best as possible.
Before we let you go for today, safety is very important when it comes to National Public Lands Day or any kind of trash cleanup day.
Certainly.
And I'm sure that you have a list of clothing and footwear that you would prefer people show up with on National Public Lands Day. Or maybe a list of things not to wear might be
That's right,
appropriate
Steve.
also.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that we've experienced every year that we have this. What we would suggest is come prepared, preferably in blue jeans or some sort of long pants and shoes, not flip-flops or sandals. I would go with closed-toe shoes, preferably a boot, something with a sturdy sole, just because often we're out here, we're talking about pieces of driftwood that may have nails, in them, and so we want to be careful you know, we certainly wouldn't want someone to step on it and to hurt themselves, get a nail in their foot, that sort of thing. So we want to try to avoid that. And also, you know, we want to suggest bringing gloves. If you have some leather gloves at home, bring those with you. We're going to have some gloves on hand, but the gloves that we have, unfortunately, are just kind of latex type gloves, just for yuck factor, I guess, you know, to help with that. If you have some leather gloves or any kind of gardening gloves that you use at home, bring those out. If you got an extra pair for your kids, you know, bring those out and let them have those for a little better protection out there. But the main thing really is going to be the shoes. You know, sometimes people do wear shorts, and that, you know, there's a chance you may get in some briars, things. But at least with a good sturdy set of shoes on, you're going to be a lot better protected than with flip-flops or sandals. And
I just wanted to get that out there because every year I do see flip-flops and sandals, and invariably that's the person that's going to find the thrown away fish lure or something with the nasty rusty treble hook on it.
That's right, yeah, absolutely. We want to avoid that at all costs.
So if you're interested in volunteering for National Public Lands Day, September 24th,
that's right.
Please pre-register. Give us the telephone number one more time.
All right, the telephone number is 706-645-2937. And again, my name's David Scott, so just ask for me and the receptionist will get you back to me. And please understand, as park rangers, we're out in the field a lot, so you're probably gonna have to leave a message, but I'll get back to you and we'll get it ironed down and figure out the best way for you or your group to help out.
Dave, some great information. I hope we have a fantastic turnout on National Public Lands Day.
Thank you, Steve.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Nobody wants to be stopped by a law enforcement officer.
Everyone wants to feel safe.
So we've trained our officers to first listen and then explain.
We ask if you have contact with one of our officers, you listen, give him an opportunity to explain, comply with his requests, and if there's a problem, contact us so that we can investigate your complaint.
Listen, explain, comply, then complain.
Our safety and yours matters.
Hey, and welcome back. I want to thank all of my guests for being on the show today. We had Park Ranger Randy Dye, Park Ranger Rebecca Fink, and Natural Resource Specialist David Scott. I want to take a moment and just remind you that if you would like more information on these stories, please visit our official Facebook page, www.facebook.com/westpointlake.usace.